Finally, it worked. The OBB or the opening billboard finally came out after two episodes of it, failing miserably. Finally came out. So, yeah, what's up, guys? Welcome to the third episode of Watch Me Work. Your host Noel Guevara, and man, I have to say I've been waiting for this. Well, it's the highlight of my week. Doing Watch Me Work. It's been incredible. I look forward to it. It's very relaxing seeing all of you guys here. Yeah, give a shout out. Hi, Bricks. I can see you there. How's it going, my man? So yeah, make yourself heard in the comments, and I would bring you up and show you guys in. It's crazy. I made a mistake of scheduling it for 8:15 p.m. today, whereas it should have been 9 p.m. That's an error on my end, so I apologize if people came in at 8:15. The show is actually on at 9 every week, so yeah, it's weird. I thought I fixed that up, and yeah, so tonight, it's going to be a fun one because we are going to talk about how to process your golden hour photos perfectly. So these are photos that I took in 2019, and that was in the Wonderfruit Festival in Pattaya in Thailand. And I would have to say it was an amazing experience because for some reason in Thailand the golden hour stretches for much longer than it does here, right? I don't know why. I don't know why it is or why, if it actually is the case. But more often than not, in my experience, it was absolutely fantastic shooting this event uh, for a much longer extended period of golden hour. So I started talking about golden hour in my TikTok. Or I still have a TikTok account where I used to teach and give tutorials, and one of the most watched videos was one on golden hour, and I thought I should have this episode um, to talk about that. Yeah, so I can see a lot of people coming in, and yeah, make yourself heard in the comments. I would love to see where you guys are from. Tell me where you're coming from and what you expect from tonight, and let's make it a bit more interactive. Let's have some music in to living up our whatever we have here. Okay, so first off, host Noel Guevara, and if you haven't seen my other shows, check them out here on YouTube as well. Hammerhead Gearhead is my gear review show. Let's lower the music a bit. Now, I want to talk about one thing first, and I think this is the most important topic or in our agenda for today. Is that what do we call ourselves? What do we call the ones who come in and watch the show? With Hammerhead Gearhead, I always say, "Hey, what's up, Gearheads?" Because Hammerhead and Gearhead. For this one, I really don't know what to use. I was thinking maybe what if we were all like the Watch Me workers? It's really lame. So if you guys can think of something, put them in the comments or message me on Facebook or Instagram, and the one who has the best one, I will give a prize. The prizes that we give away here in Watch Me Work. We gave away a Saramonic mic, and we gave away a Nanlite Pavo bulb. So giveaways aren't pushover. So I'll make sure it's worth your while if you have something good for me. So speaking of Saramonic and Pavo tubes, Pavo bulbs, we are sponsored by Saramonic, and that's why I sound so good right now. This mic, it's amazing. I finally figured out how to use it. And watch me, army. Watch me, Sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, let me know what color you want. Yellow, green, purple. Yeah, sorry, I pressed the mute when I was trying to remove the comment. Give me a color and let's put it on screen right now. So Randy, you gave the last one bricks. How about you giving me a color for our episode for today? It could be anything. It could be cyan. It could be blue. It could be red. Yeah, so the way I'm doing this is I'm using this app from Nanlite that lets me choose a color from a color wheel. And it's the thing about the Pavo bulb is it's the accuracy, the light accuracy, the color accuracy is top notch. That's what separates it from, let's say, the Philips Hue, for example. This is why we use it in shows. Okay, so from bricks, let's do cyan. All right, let's do it. There it is. Okay, we'll have cyan for today. Okay, and please, if you haven't yet, please do like and subscribe and hit that notification bell here for the show. It goes a long way to getting you guys notified if I am going live, for example, for this. And I have so many things up for the next few weeks and for the next few months. And I'm sure you're going to love it. You're bound to learn something. Also, Super Chat is on. I got my first earning from Super Thanks the other day, and it was only $2, but it was absolutely amazing. So if you want to give some sort of to express your support monetarily, then Super Chat is also a way to go. All right, so we can get started with golden hour. So let's go into what makes golden hour golden hour. So why do we shoot golden hour, or what is golden hour first? So golden hour is by definition the time of day when the sun is the lowest in the sky, or at least, kissing being the operative term, the horizon. Because of this, right? Normally this would be an hour after sunrise and an hour before sunset, but most people really just shoot after sunset, or before sunset, sorry, because it's longer. We have more time to prepare, and no one's really tired from or groggy from waking up so early to get it. And at this time, the sun bathes your subject and scenes in just absolutely beautiful, majestic golden light, right? Excuse me. And that's why we shoot golden hour. So also, as you can see here, the light is warmer, and you don't have that much harsh shadows as opposed to shooting in the middle of the day. And it's also very directional. So it gives you more lighting options, whether you want to turn your subject, want to light from the side, or, accentuate certain body features in the face and so on. That really works. And at the same time, the longer shadows also allow for better contrast and also the ability to isolate your subject better. So it makes your subject pop out that much more. But before anything else, I would have to say that you have to master shooting in golden hour first. That is what's important. Okay, so the best way to shoot during golden hour is that you have to underexpose a bit, meaning you need to underexpose so that more detail from the highlights will come out when you actually want to bring it out. And also, you would want to try to shoot against the light. Sometimes that will be better to give you more contrast and to just give you that sort of backlit hair light that is all oh so beautiful as well. The way it penetrates and really shows through the hair. That's one way. That's one also reason or that you should shoot against the light as well, right? So if you have to get it right. That's what's important, and that is the message here in Watch Me Work, which is, in as much as we're editing photos and it's all about photo editing, you also have to get it right straight out of camera. Okay, so I will now go into the photos here. Okay, so I have here five photos, right? So we have these. I shot them. If you look at the timestamps, this one was shot around 2:43 p.m. So that wasn't golden hour yet, and then this one was shot around 6:10. And then 6:25, 6:35 p.m. and 6:48 p.m. Right. So the reason I chose these photos is because the thing about shooting in during golden hour is that light changes so drastically, so fast, that what you shot 10 minutes before may be different, maybe lit different as one that you will shoot now or in 15 minutes later. So I will teach you how to sort of adapt to each situation, right? So let's get to it. Okay. I'll start with the perfect one, right? I think this shot would be the best. So today I will just only use Lightroom and Photoshop. I won't go into Nik Collection 5 just for the sake of focusing on what everyone has right now. So to start, I would normally just go straight to the basic. Let's go to global adjustments first. And normally what I will do first and foremost is to really bring down the highlights. The highlights are for more often than not the priority. And this is why I shoot underexposed, right? 1/3 to probably 1 stop underexposed. And you can see it brings out more of the color of the sky, which we are after anyway. And then I will increase the exposure a tad just to bring out more of our foreground right there. And then the shadows as well. Let's bring out some of it a bit more. Maybe lower exposure a bit. And then just to bring up back out more of that contrast back, I would lower the blacks. Right. So as you can see, and if you've been watching my previous episodes, I rarely touch the contrast slider until the very last if I absolutely need to. I will also bring out some clarity just to add more definition. What happens if you increase the shadows and also exposure? You sort of lose the definition because of in the blacks and in the shadows. So adding a bit of clarity brings that back. So if we zoom in slightly, you can see if you increase it, right, you can see how much it changes. Clarity, you have to be very careful and be very disciplined in adding this, so probably around 17 would be good. You don't want the features to be too obtuse or too overly chiseled and defined. I will also bring up the vibrance. So the difference between the vibrance and your saturation lies in the fact that vibrance saturates your cool colors and saturation saturates your warm colors. So in this case, for example, if I increase the saturation, it gets wonky. It gets too yellow, right? But if I increase vibrance, it's not as vivid, so to speak. Right? So a vibrance of around 22 to 30 would be good. We also want to, again, remove the sharpening. I really don't like the sharpening here. But if you absolutely had to, then I would probably just add a bit. We are after that soft, luscious golden hour look, right? And then next thing I will do is go into color grading. Before this was split color, and now I use color grading to accentuate the colors even more. So the most important thing here are the highlights and the shadows. So the highlights is basically the sky that we have predominantly, but of course their shirts and this woman's top are also white, and as well the wings. So you want that slightly to the warmer side of the spectrum, like so. And then for the shadows, okay, so here's the rub. If you're going to make the highlights warmer, I would make the shadows either cooler to have color contrast or slightly warmer as well. So let's see what happens. So if I'll bring it down into the blue, you can see that there's slightly more contrast in the colors. Or if I put it orange, it becomes more monotone. I personally like, for in this case, I'll probably go warmer. So let's look at the extremes of it, right? So if I put it absolutely here, you can see that it's too orange, and here it's too blue. So I'll probably put it somewhere here. There we go. Very, very light-handed with this. You don't want to go too far. And for the midtones, you don't want to touch the midtones because the midtones always adjusts the skin tone. So you want to be very careful with the skin tone. And then lastly, I will work on a tone curve. I will increase the black slightly just to bring out some a bit more. And then lower. I'll just do a very, very simple S curve, lower this a bit, and then increase the highlights. This is a very soft S curve, and then just make sure the midtones are locked in. Okay. Right. Color-wise, I am liking this. I probably adjust the temperature a bit to the yellow side slightly, ever so slightly, and then let's play with the tint a bit. Let's fight those greens that are coming out, and then add some contrast. Okay. And that is before and after. All right. So that's how it looks. Maybe the midtones, I will probably bring it, if you go to color grading, I will bring the midtones slightly more orange. It's becoming more too blue. There. There you go. There it is. So that's how I work on my... Okay, I'm gonna toggle back down here a bit. Okay, and lower the contrast. There it is. So that's how I would edit my my golden hour photos. I just really want to bring that contrast back. The colors usually off the bat, if you shot it right, are already good from the onset. And what you want to do is just to accentuate the color contrast and make sure everything is properly exposed. Since you, after all, you overexpose. You can even increase the exposure slightly a bit more. Just make sure you're you control it. You can even increase the whites as well to make the atmosphere that much brighter. And there it is. So normally that's how it looks. Yeah. If you have any questions, just throw it in there and I will do my best to answer it as best as I can. Bricks, am I answering your question so far? Everything's going well? Let me know. Okay, so let's move on. So what I have here, next one is just, I shot this earlier and it is darker, right? It's darker than the previous one. So this is what we have. Ooh, I think it's a bit too much right now. So it's also good to look at something else and go back and see if you overdone it. It's always good to do that. So what is our color grading? Let's turn it off. Let's see. Yeah, so we fought the greens and brought back the magenta. Okay, so let's move on to this where it's shot against the light and we're going darker. And the subject is darker. So again, I would also bring down the highlights and you can see immediately that yellow or that orange, that golden color in the horizon coming out. I will also increase the shadows to bring her out a bit more. And then finally, I will increase the exposure ever so slightly to get that airy feel. So this is what I like about shooting against the light is that you have that sort of backlit area, that hair light. So if I switched back to my screen right now, you can see there I have a hair light on me. So I have this pavo tube right here that casts that light on me just to separate me from the background. And shooting against the light in a golden hour case, sorry about that, in a golden hour situation gives that effect naturally, right? Okay, so that's down pat. Let's bring the blacks down. Let's bring the shadows back up a bit more. Add some clarity. Maybe add some whites. And then increase the vibrance with around 20, 24. And then again, for detail and sharpening, I would turn it down. I don't want that harsh sharpening on these images. And then we'll go again to color grading. Play around with the highlights, bring out the orange a bit more right there. And then with the shadows, let's see if it works that we add some cooler colors. Or, no, actually this one's really nice. Look at that. And then let's bring that tone curve back up so we can lower this and bring up the highlights. And then up the highlights again. Sorry, the midtones. And maybe increase the blacks just to give you that feel. And then we can go back to basic color correction or global color correction and see if we can adding a contrast brings it out even more. Right. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. Thank you, EJ. So yeah, this is what we have right now. And this is the before and after. All right. Oops, what happened? All right, there you go. There you go. Okay, so that is your before and after. This is what we have, and this is what we have previously. So that is how you can enhance that effect. Hey, what's up, EJ? How is it going? EJ is my buddy from Nikon Philippines and Thick Dharma. So this guy got me started in Nikon. I used to be a Nikon ambassador, and this guy really went out of his way to accommodate a lot of the things that I needed in my expeditions and my assignments. So hats off to you, EJ. Right, okay, we have that. This one is, the next one is fairly easy. Again, just work with the shadows slightly, lower the highlights, lower the blacks, bring up the whites, and then increase the exposure. Like, okay. And then clarity, we can increase it. Bring out some definition and the vibrance as well. Bring it up to 21. Let's look at the color grading again. Bringing up some. There you go. And I would love some blues as well for the sky. And then we can have some tone curve again. Let's give an S curve to it and bring up the, there you go. And if you want that airy feel, you really bring up the blacks slightly. And then going back to basic, we can apply a bit of contrast and see the difference. This one is quite, it's really subtle because honestly, the way it was shot, I am the shooter. I took the photo anyway, so it's I think I got it really right. The camera, by the way, that I was using here in this case was the Nikon Z50. Right. So let's go to the library and check that out. Interesting. Where do you see that? Where's the metadata? Anyway, I'll do that later. But this was taken with the Z50 mainly to demonstrate the features of the camera back in 2019. I did a review. If you want to see the review, by the way, just click on the link here. I will put it there for those who are watching a recording of this. So let's do that. Okay. Now, going back again, I always go back to the previous shots and see if I went overboard, whether it's too yellow or it's too... This one is coming off a bit too yellow now. There. I think that's better. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. This is just a wide shot against the light. You have that flaring in the middle. And again, what's important for me are the highlights. I want to get more of that sky or the clouds there. And the Z50, while it is a crop frame camera, it has an amazing sensor. And I had absolute fun doing this. You know, it's funny because I remember now, this was before the lockdown. And when I went around Wonderfruit, I was shooting with the Z50 on one hand, and I was filming with a Nikon Z7 on the other. So it was that light and versatile and mobile that I could do both at the same time. You know, typical gonzo journalist shooting photo and video both at the same time. Right. Okay. So blacks, let's bring it again down. I would bring up the shadows more to bring out that texture, bring out that clarity to give you that definition. And the vibrance, bring it up to 20. And go to HSL, no, sorry, go to color grading. And again, doing a split color and bring the yellow back. And with the shadows, do we go blue or do we go, this is nice. Going warmer is actually good. Okay. I would probably go into HSL and bring up some of the saturations from the blue side just to have more color contrast. So again, you're looking at the opposite ends of the spectrum. You are looking at warm and blue, so that's why you have orange and cyan working really well in most designs and photos. So to bring out more contrast, if you're pushing up yellow, then you should also push up the cool colors as well. And yeah, so since we have more people here, by the way, I've been brainstorming on what to call the audience, right? I wanted to know, so if Hammerhead Gearhead, we call ourselves Gearhead. So I always say, hey, what's up, Gearheads, and so on. So how about here for Watch Me Work? Is it going to be the Watch Me Workers, which is super lame? The Worker Bees, or I don't know. So again, I will give out a prize to the one who has the most interesting and usable catchphrase, right? Or what to call this, growing community that we have here. Speaking of video, thank you for bringing that up, Chum. I will show the video right here, which I shot with the C7 after I finish this final image. So we'll tackle that in a bit. All right. So for our last photo is this. Okay. So this was taken actually at 2:43 p.m., which isn't exactly golden hour, right? But now that I've edited the other 5, which are golden hour, shot during golden hour. Okay, let's bring out the contrast here a bit more. There you go. Just bring out those see those shadows. We want that's what comes with the package of a golden hour. So you want to bring that up also, and increase the shadows a bit more. There you go. Okay. So if you've edited everything else for golden hour, shot in golden hour, and you want this to sort of fit and make it seem as if it was shot during golden hour, then of course we have to bring it down. So the problem with shooting something like this during the middle of the day is that everything is just too stark. You lower the highlights and you see that it's not moving as much. You try to bring up the shadows to level it out, to make it softer. So you want the shadows to be slightly softer, which is more characteristic of golden hour. Bring down the blacks for definition, and then increase clarity slightly. I would also bring up vibrance. It's the same process, but there'll be more work when it comes to the color. So when you go into color grading now, you want to bring it more towards orange to give you more of that golden feel to it. And same with the shadows, I would slightly put it more to orange or warmer than blue. And then let's go to the tone curve. Again, increase that side. Bring down the shadows slightly so you don't darken it too much. Increase the highlights for a proper S curve, and then have like an S. Increase the midtones a bit. Then go back to the temperature and slightly bring it yellow, and making sure you're balanced here. There it is. I'll probably bring up the whites a bit more slightly, and the shadows a bit more. I want it softer, so maybe bring down the clarity a bit will work. Okay. And the exposure, of course, has to be. Noel's fan club, and the only member is probably you, EJ. Thank you for the support. Right, okay, let's fix this slightly, and so that we can move on. The watchers. Who watches the watchers? All right, there it is. All right, so let's go through all of it again. Yeah, so we have this, which I think is a bit on the green side, so I'll move it slightly to magenta and the tint. And then you have this. I will lessen the contrast slightly. Okay. Increase the shadows a bit more. And then you have this. Increase the vibrance a bit. There you go. Maybe the saturation. Yeah. I think there was glare also in the lens, so it was affecting the register of the colors. And then you have this one. So when you look at the whole library, there is some sort of continuity to it, right? This one is slightly off, so we will bring down the whites. Okay. And there it is. So that is the roundup to what we have, and you know, that is the way that I do my work when it comes to working with golden hour. So there you have it, right? Okay, let's put some music on and let's talk about the process. So I would like to ask you guys, if you have any questions, now's the time to bring it out regarding how to maximize or perfectly enhance your golden hour footage. We've worked on 5 photos here, which are, I feel like, my best ones in that in that shoot. So this was in 2019. And yeah, if you have any questions, now's the time to throw it in. Okay, let's bring those photos back in. So I'm sure you guys are wondering, what is Wonderfruit, right? So Wonderfruit basically is a festival, right? It's a festival that they have in Pattaya in Thailand, and it celebrates music, art, food, entertainment, and so on. And it's really a response to sustainable resolutions. It's a very they have this selling proposition, which they say they are into hedonistic sustainability. When you go there, single plastic is banned, right? And they take pride in the fact that they are carbon neutral, right? So being carbon neutral means that they don't have that much effect on the environment. The carbon footprint is close to zero, which is why it's called neutral. And they want everyone to rethink waste management, water, transportation, food, and even human interaction. So that was what was beautiful about that event. You know what? I will show you the video right now. And this video, let me cue that. There's no audio, sadly, because I haven't had it. I don't have it routed. But if you look at this video, this is the one that I shot with the Nikon Z7. So if you want to watch this in all its glory, I will put the link. For those who are watching, it's recorded, but it's also here on my YouTube channel. It's quite buried because it was two years ago. But I'd let the video speak for itself. So this is all Z7, and what was wonderful was that pun intended, was that when I was shooting with the Z50, I was interchanging between the two cameras. This was, I feel like, overexposed, sadly. And this is the site where I gave a talk. So the reason I was there was I was invited to give a talk on conservation, wildlife photography, and just look how beautiful it is. You can do yoga, and then it was easy to approach anyone for photos, for portraits. So yeah, so no single-use cups, refill cups only. I unfortunately forgot my cup, which I got there. And yeah, so sustainable creative experiences and food waste is composite. And the framework for this kind of event is, it blows my mind. So that's their mantra, hedonistic sustainability. So they've been carbon neutral since 2017. I haven't gone back, mainly because of COVID. But it's wonderful. You should watch the video on my YouTube channel. And this is not just a plug. It really shows you the capabilities of both the Z7 and, of course, indirectly, by extension, the Z50 as well, right? And the sculptures were absolutely amazing. Chum, you would enjoy it here most probably. So this is the beautiful lady that I shot also. So I was able to shoot panning shots of them, tracking, and so on. I love this shot because you can see what's in focus, the Live, Love, Wonder in the cup, and then it shifts focus to the Wonderfruit logo. And so, yeah, that guy was just so cooperative. And yeah, there you have it. So again, for you guys who have joined and who are watching right now, let me cue that up. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. I'm very thankful to have around over 100 new subscribers in the last few weeks, all because of this show and for the videos that I have been releasing. So let's show so there we have a question right here, which is from Chum. Which golden hour do you prefer to shoot in, sunrise or sunset? Definitely sunset. the thing with sunset is you have ample time to prepare for it. You can forget, for example, if you're shooting out on location in the mountains, you have time to go there. You can leave at 12, be there at around 3, have time to shoot, and so on. The problem with shooting early in the morning is that you have to wake up early just to be sure, to make sure that you're on location on time. And it gets hot very quickly. The sun rises so fast that the next thing you know, it's already midday, right? But when it comes to golden hour, you have the benefit of having an extended quote unquote time shooting golden hour, plus you have blue hour after. Okay. Okay. Right. So next is from Bricks. Best camera setting for golden hour. I normally shoot again underexposed. So what I would do is I would shoot an aperture priority, and I will set my settings, my ISO to what I feel is correct for the good exposure, and then just have the exposure compensation at minus 0.3, excuse me, or -1, excuse me. And then, of course, if you're shooting in the golden hour and you're shooting portraits, then you want it around at f2. If you have a 1.4, which I have, I would shoot at f2 to 1.8 to f2. But if I'm shooting, let's say, let's show this one. If I'm shooting wide, then I'd probably be at f8. Right. So you just have to be mindful of your shutter priority, because it's getting dark really fast, and to compensate, if you're on aperture priority, then it could get slower and slower, and you will have more blur in your photos. Okay. Let's look at the next question. How about shooting at the blue hour? I think that's a completely different scenario, but that means ISO will be higher, and you would want your opening or your aperture to be wider. Definitely for blue hour. Blue hour is beautiful. It just has those blue hues. If you're shooting in the northern hemisphere, for example, in Europe, you can have blue hour until 11 p.m. 11 p.m. There's still some light, and it's soft light, so it's beautiful. Maybe I should have another video talking about shooting in blue hour as well. So again, yeah, please give a like. If you absolutely love what you saw, then please go into super chat as well. If you feel like it's worth the support and the thanks. So that's it. Are there any other questions? Okay, so since we don't have, and it's already we're almost out of time. Next week, I'll probably do an episode on how I edit travel photos on my iPad. So my favorite setup right now is a Nikon Z6 with a FTZ adapter and 50mm 1.4G lens, and also a Fuji X100V. And when it comes to personal work, for personal trips, I edit them on my iPad, which is a beast of a machine, the M1 iPad. And I would recommend that you go to my video right here in this card for those watching recording. I have a tutorial on how I do it. Okay, so we have some more questions from Chum. Would you keep your white balance to auto or change it to cloudy shade? I will keep my white balance on auto for the sole reason that you can adjust it in post. So one thing less to think about, it's not that big of a deal to shoot in auto because it's raw anyway, and it's easy to fix, and something that you don't have to think about and adjust as you're shooting in golden hour. Okay, last question from EJ. Difference between vibrance from saturation. Vibrance saturates your cool colors, while saturation saturates your warmer colors. This is a simplification, but this is why you can go higher with vibrance as opposed to saturation. And that's what you want. You want to increase the vibrance over saturation. In fact, when you're shooting golden hour even, you may want to reduce the saturation a bit and increase the vibrance. Because remember, you have more warm colors during golden hour because of the golden light. And you want just to make sure the shadows or the cool colors are slightly more vivid in the warmer spectrum. So there you have it. So again, for my sponsors, Nanlite for Pavo tubes and Pavo bulbs, and Saramonic for my mic, in the description below are the promo codes. So you get 10% promo code. If you put it in, you get 10% off, basically. So that's it. Again, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And as you know, I am here every week, every Wednesday at 9 p.m. So if you're up for more learning, then hit the notify me as well and the notification button. So thanks, guys, for being such a blast tonight. This was more than I would have expected, and I hope you learned something and enjoyed. And as I always say, get it right straight out of camera, so you don't need to you don't need to work so hard when it comes into post, right? So that is it. Thank you, Bricks. I'll see you again next week, and let's do some editing on my iPad. So thanks, guys, and I'll see you soon.